Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm looking a little crazy. I don't have anything on my face and there's some stuff happening on my eyes. So if you want to see how I got here, you'll want to keep watching. We are going to be trying out two palettes. These are ones that I've had in my collection. If you've watched my declutters or my makeup collection videos, you've seen the green stickers, the little tab stickers I put on palettes that I'm thinking about possibly getting rid of if I don't use them. So these are two. I needed to make room. Haven't used them. Had them for a while. Decided to try them. So yeah, if you want to see how that journey went, I spent about 15 minutes with each, so this video is going to be about half an hour long, just so if you don't care about one or the other, just skip it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, make sure your notification bell is turned on. And yeah, if you want to see, I don't normally film this when I test out palettes. I thought this might be interesting because I think some people think that I just get a palette and it just magically works and everything's grand, and I don't have struggles. So you will get to see the process, and spoiler alert, there were some struggles. So if you want to know which palette I struggled with, what those struggles were, just keep on watching. And yeah, make sure you subscribe, and we're going to jump into the palette. Okay, so I have concealer on this lid and my MAC paint pot on this side because that's normally what I use. I do have some palettes that I have to use concealer with, which is fine, but it's helpful to know. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to like it if I have to use concealer, but this is how I test. I don't normally film. I don't know that I've ever filmed kind of how I test palettes out, but I'm at home. My daughter's with my in-laws, so I'm not a big TV watcher, so this is what I'm doing. So I figured I would just film it. So yeah, this is what the inside looks like. It's very neutral. You've got a couple pops of green. There's a couple of pinks, but it's mostly a neutral palette. I haven't used BH Cosmetics a whole lot. I think I've only used my Zodiac palette once each, and then I did like a separate look on each eye. So that's really my only experience. So we're going to get my favorite brushes, even though they are probably dirty. I need to clean them, but the problem with cleaning them is then I can't film anything for 2 days, and I've been trying to like pre-film some stuff because we're going to go on vacation to see my grandma. So I'm going to get my little tapered, is this my small tapered one? My brushes are all sorts of out of order, so we'll take this one. It's my little tapered Luxie. I swear I had a small one, or one that said small. Maybe it's this one. Yes. They are slightly different, even though this one's not very big. Okay, that's the one I was looking for. I thought it was crazy because I used this one this morning, and I was like, I swear it said small. So we're going to use those two. And it's a long process here to get ready. And then I'm going to get out my Sigma E25. I'm cleaning them on a color switch because sometimes I get lazy and I forget. We'll get the Luxe Smoky Shader from Jessup. Might get one for the lower lash line. This is also a Jessup smudger. And we'll get my flat brush. Might get my little concealer brush. Okay, and I do have them in front of me, but those are the primary ones that I use. Okay, I have not really thought about what I want to do. I kind of like that this has cool tones in it, but it's also got some warm tones. Do I want to do a cool tone look? I don't know. Maybe. Let's try a cooler tone. So let's start with this brown in here. This is Duchess. We'll do the Sigma brush, and we're going to start off. Let's do the MAC. There is kick up in the pan if you can see it, but I don't know that that really matters. I am more concerned with pigmentation than how powdery it is. I tend to get fallout. We're going to put that in the corner. This is my normal, like, everyday primer, so I want to see how it does with this, and then we'll do the concealer. BH Cosmetics is at a lower price point, so I'm expecting it to do better on the concealer side, or needing, it doesn't seem like it necessarily needs the concealer, at least with this shade. We'll see how this blends out, but I'm also stamping it. I'm not necessarily blending anything. I am getting that brown all over. Okay, so we've kind of placed it. I'm gonna clean this off, and then generally I'll sit and do this. I'll just sit and play. Or I'll do this in the morning if I'm brave. And sometimes I will try out a new palette before work and then just kind of, like I said, pray, take my chances. It is blending out some. Like I said, I'm not entirely familiar with BH formula, with their formula, so I feel like that did blend out some. And there's still color on the lid. Okay, let's go in with Palace, which is a taupey color. I was going to say gray. I mean, it is a gray, but let's see how that works into the brown. It's a light color, so I don't know how much that's going to show up. I'm honestly expecting this to not be super pigmented. I'm not disappointed by it by any means, and there is pigment on my lid, so that's good. I don't know if I'm gonna do the same look on both eyes. I may start out with that brown on this side and then go in with some other colors just to test out some different looks on the lid, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do. That's normally why I don't do this on camera, because I'm just kind of seeing how I feel about the formula. I'm gonna go in with Thorn, which is this, like, it's a white, but I feel like it's got a shift to it. Yeah, there's like a blue shift almost happening. Oh yeah, definitely a blue shift there. Okay, I'm gonna put that under my brow bone, even though it's gonna look weird because I don't have any brow products. I'm gonna take Rain first, because that is it is very holographic, but it's a little bit on the sheer side. So Rain was just that cream. There's a matte cream towards the top. So I put a little bit of that down, and then I put Thorn on top of it. That would be pretty on the inner corner too. I like kind of a shimmery brow bone color, and there really isn't one. But that to me would be inner corner. Don't know that I necessarily like it up there. On my little, is that the smaller one? Yeah. On my small blending brush, I'm going to take Emperor, which is, yeah, the caramel colored one. This looks cooler in the pan, like cooler toned. I feel like then the looks come out. I don't know. I feel like this look is ending up a lot warmer than I thought, but you'll have to let me know. I'm just putting a little bit of that above the brown, and then we'll go back in with the Sigma brush and Duchess, which is the dark color. I feel like some of it blended away, but this is technically a drugstore palette. That tends to happen, I feel like. I mean, it happens with high-end too, but okay, let's see. And that brown is the deepest shade that's in there, so to get a really dark color on the outer corner, I feel like I'm just gonna have to layer it or go into a palette that's got a black. If I put more just on the outer corner. Try to see what that does. I am a lazy person, especially in the morning, so I don't like to have to go and do another palette, even though I could just get a single black shadow. I feel like that deepened up the outer corner some, even though I put that color in the crease too. Let's put a little bit more of that caramel color over there. That's not bad. Okay. I'll leave it alone. It's going to start getting muddy if I try and layer too much. Okay. I was looking at high tea, but I feel like maybe Imperial will be better. Oh, I'm going to put down a glitter glue. I don't think it necessarily needs concealer, but... And the concealer side, I will probably put a little bit more on just because it's kind of set. It's not as tacky. If you really want the concealer to be super impacting, you want to leave it a little bit tacky, like that's dried down. Okay, so let's, oh no, maybe we'll do Aristocrat. It's a little cooler tone. We'll do that one. I like that better. More of an antique gold. I'm having a little bit of like crumbliness, but that tends to happen with most shimmers. Okay, and then I just wipe my finger in the color switch, and then I'm going to go in with Lord, which is more of a taupe, and I'm going to put that just right here just to give it some dimension, not necessarily to help blend anything, but I like doing a little bit different of a shimmer right there just for something. And then I'm going to take just my little flat brush and just a little bit of Duchess, which was the brown, and I'm just gonna, that did actually help blend that out. That's not bad. And then I'm going to take High Tea, which is the silver, even though I don't have anything on my lower lash line. I don't have any concealer on yet. Just wanted to kind of see what that looks like. Okay. I don't think that that like is the most blinding shimmer you're ever going to come across, but it's not bad. I might put just a smidgen more over here. I don't know that I necessarily need to. Maybe we'll just leave it. Okay, because this seemed like it did decent without. Okay, I'm going to go in with Regal on this side, maybe. Maybe I'll go in with Monarch. I changed my mind. We'll go in with the matte, the green. I want to see what that looks like. It's a pretty green. And again, this seems to have good pigmentation. Again, we are going over concealer, but it's not wet concealer, so it's pretty much acting like the MAC paint pot. It's just giving me a little bit different of a tone, like as far as my base is concerned. Yeah, that's a pretty green. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the small blending brush, and we'll do Empress, which is like a light tan color, just to kind of help blend that out a little bit. You can definitely see a line in there. It's not wanting to blend in with the brown. Just kind of shoved it up in there. That probably was a mistake. Let me go in with the green on the blending brush and see what that does. That green definitely, like you can kind of see there's a line there. It's blending, but it's not. Like I feel like some of it is dispersing and blending out, and then there's like remnants or like initial spots where it's like clinging. I don't know. Let me go back in with that light color, the light tan color. Definitely doesn't seem like it wants to blend into that color at all. And I feel like we're getting muddy. Like you can see the green right there, and it's starting to look murky. And this is why I didn't do foundation, because I can already tell, and we're about 14 minutes in, that I'm not like, I don't think this is a bad palette, but I don't know that this is, after this look, that I'm going to use this again. So unfortunately, I'm going to put this in my declutter bag and it will get passed on. So since we're only about 14 minutes in, I'm going to take this off. And we'll actually jump into this palette. Okay, so I took it off. Now you can see why I don't have a base on when I do this. I just literally sit here like this. If I want to test out like lower lash, I'll put like concealer and a little bit of powder down there just so that it has something to adhere to. But I can do that at the end. Like, I don't want anybody to think that that palette was bad. I think it's fine. I think somebody with less makeup, less expectations, somebody that just doesn't wear a lot of makeup, just wants an everyday easy palette. Because I think like that green would have been fine had I not blended other stuff into it and just left the green alone. So somebody that's not looking to do anything crazy, which I don't think you would with that palette anyway, so I think somebody else would like it better. I don't think it's bad. I'm actually really surprised at the pigmentation of that, but I can already tell that I'm not going to use it probably again. It's not one that I would reach for, so not that this is going to be either. This is the Dido Galaxy Shade Palette. I saw this on Instagram and got sucked in by the packaging for one, and then the inside. Look at the texture on some of those. Like, this is a pressed glitter, so I don't know that I'm going to use that, but the layout's a little bit different, but you know, it's a galaxy. So what do we have here? The moon is a shimmer, Mercury, Earth, Jupiter. Let's swatch. Okay, Mercury is a textured shimmer. I hate swatching these because I'm like messing them up. Earth is very sheer. That seems like that's kind of a glitter. It's almost wet feeling, like shimmer. Topper, that's Earth. There's some interest that I could tell by looking at it that there's some different. Jupiter. I hate sticking my finger in it because I'm like messing up the pretty like patterns. That seems like that is a glitter topper. Uranus. I'm like swirling the colors together, so it's not going to be like pretty to look at after I'm done with it, which makes me sad because if I pass it on, they're going to open it and it's going to look, I don't want it to look like a giant mess. Because they're going to be, the person's going to be like, what in the hell is this? Oh, okay. All the like pretty planets. There's different textures, different formulas happening here. For sure. Earth and Jupiter seem like eyeshadow toppers. That's the word that I want to use. I think I did Mars. Yes. I'm losing track here of what planet's which. Those two, Did I swatch? Oh, I did that one. Oh, that's the same shadow. I'm like, that looks identical because it's the same shadow. What are you? I don't know how to pronounce that. See, I'm old, and I went to school when there was only 9 planets. Because this little one, I don't even know how you pronounce that. Haumea. Is that a... Because there's dwarf planets. There's planets and dwarf planets. Pluto was demoted. First it was a planet, then it wasn't, then it was, then it's been, now it's been demoted. So there's like 8 planets, and there's like 3 or 5 dwarf planets. I had to look this up before because I didn't know, because this was not taught. Like I said, when I went to elementary school, there was only 9 planets. I can name them all. So you have Eris, E-R-I-S, Halley's, oh, Halley's Comet. I know what that is. So the Haumea is this black with like blue sparkle in it. I'm just trying to swatch some of these so I can see, because there's definitely some different textures. Pluto is a matte. The moon is a silver shimmer. Okay, so I got a feel here. We do have some shimmer. Like I said, Earth and Jupiter are like glitter, like shadow toppers to me. Then you've got Mercury, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Mars, which are actual shimmers, and then you got some other ones. So the only reason I did that, and this is why I'm gonna have to get a new towel again, I could tell by looking at it that there was some different formulas happening, and then obviously the sun is a pressed glitter. So okay, and there is some staining, at least from that black shade, so that gives me an idea, like I said, formula wise, because this one's got to be, like, I don't, is it M-A-K-E, M-A-K-E, make? I don't know what that is. Sedna, Charon, some of these are probably moons. I don't know if, like, because Pluto's here, so are those, like, dwarf planet? I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to Google this again. Who remembers when there was only 9 planets? And as far as I'm concerned, there's still only 9 planets. I'm like, you just can't not have Pluto be a planet. Pluto was a planet for a long time. You can't just not have it be a planet. Like, I think that's why they brought it back, but then they demoted it. It's dwarf planet. Pluto is still a planet, because like I said, he, some of the zodiac signs are ruled by him. Like, you can't just not have him. Oh, and then they tried to add a 13th zodiac sign. I was reading online. People are crazy. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of pretty things happening in this palette, but I don't know if there's enough to do a cohesive look. That's why it's one of those things that I got sucked in. This would probably be a good companion palette. I don't know if this is necessarily a good palette to use on its own. This company does make like all matte palettes. This would probably be good in conjunction. Okay, we're gonna use Sedna. I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, it's a brown. We're gonna put the brown in the crease, and then I will try and do something else. The satiny ones, like Halley's Comet and Ceres, could be used in the crease. I'll use them in the crease. I'll use the green one, I think, on the other eye. We'll see here. I wasn't planning on swatching, but I wanted to kind of see. I wouldn't have completely known that Earth and Jupiter were that different. They look flakier than the other ones, so that's why I was thinking that they weren't quite the same as the other shimmers, so that's helpful to know. This seems decently pigmented. It's just a brown. It's not a bad brown. Is it the best brown I've ever used? No, but I can see it. So that's helpful. Okay. Same brush, I'm just color switching. We're gonna use Pluto, which is kind of a flesh tone. Well, and I don't know why Mars is gold now that I'm looking. Like Earth is a silver color. That makes sense to me. But I feel like shouldn't Mars be red? The sun is kind of a reddy orange glitter, which that's fine. Make. Yeah, that's gotta be how you pronounce that. That's kind of like a cranberry red color. I feel like that's what, because Mars is red. I think of red. When I think of Mars, I think of red. So I'm not sure why Mars is gold, although it is kind of a deserty planet. So maybe that's where we're going with that. I don't know. Does anybody else think of red when they think of Mars? Is it just me? Okay. Let's put some of Mars down and then maybe put some Jupiter on top of it. We'll see what that does. Yeah, that's Mars right there. And that's no shade at the company. They're obviously can make things however they want to and call them whatever they want. That's the beauty of owning your own company. But that's just me nitpicking here. That's pretty. The shimmers in here are nice. I honestly, if I like these shimmers, that's what this palette's going to be used for. But again, I'm somebody that likes to just use one palette. And this would probably go on better with the adhesive. So to be fair, we're going to put some down and I'll stick some more on and we'll go from there. So let's see. So we saw it just on the concealer. And sometimes shimmers will stick better to the MAC paint pot just because it stays a little more tacky. That like this concealer dried down. I'm using the regular e.l.f. camo concealer. But generally with shimmers, even if it's a really wet shimmer formula, I will go in with my NYX glitter primer just because I work long hours. So that's actually pretty. That's a decent shimmer. I'll just go in with a little bit more of the brown and just a little bit of the fleshy tone one in here. Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of Jupiter. Jupiter again is very flaky. And I'm patting that just on top and it's going all over my face. But it's pretty. That's one of those, I don't know if you could wet this and go in with a brush because I feel like maybe it would stick better because it is very flaky. Like I can see flakes. I'm just spraying, this is just an Ofra makeup fixer. So I sprayed my brush. I'm going in with a brush into Jupiter. And again, there's, like you can see chunks. I don't know. Because the problem I have, like it looks pretty, but I can see something like that because I didn't go in and put more. This would probably do better on top of the primer itself, but it's so sheer that that's the only, I'm gonna put some primer down on the back of my hand because I want to see how sheer it is. I figured this wasn't, because looking at that, like there's not a lot of pigment to it. That's it straight on top. So I think that one would do better. So we'll go in, I'm gonna put some more glitter primer right on top. This is why I generally don't play with palettes before I go to work. Yeah, it's just hard to get it up. It's just a really kind of weird flaky. For me, you almost have to like press the flakes in. So there's that. And it's making it look like I've got like weird scales on my eyelid. Like it's pretty and it's very shimmery now, but it's definitely giving me some weird, and you see all of like the glitter on my face. So I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. I'm gonna wipe some of this off because I can feel it on my face. My face is gonna be shimmery. Okay. Let me start off with the shimmer on this side. I'm going in with Earth. I'm like determined to make those colors work. I'm trying to figure out what the best, because you can see like that's on top of just, I don't know, like they're pretty. They just don't translate well. It's hard to get them onto, and that was with my finger. And they're so soft. Like, I don't know that that's even gonna make, oh, it did pick up better, the brush. Okay. Because it's one of those, like, it's so flaky and soft. It's hard. And I have a wet brush, so that's gonna be the best course of action with that. But it, again, it's, it emphasizes texture, and like this side, it looks like my eyelids like ripply and like weird. And some of it could be because I layered so much glitter, but this is not that thick of a product. So I have that down. Let me go in with Uranus, which is also a pretty blue. These colors already don't mesh well, I don't think. Trying to figure out, I don't know, this is very finicky. And I don't want to discourage you because there's definitely some fun textures, but it's going to take, there's a learning curve with this formula for sure. It's stuck really well with the glitter glue. It's not wanting to come off of my hand. It's just a matter of like, it's because it's so flaky, it's hard to get it off. Okay, so I put some of Uranus on the outer, which looks terrible. This is one of those palettes that's like pretty to look at, but I'm having a hard time using it by itself. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off and think. Okay, so I haven't taken it off yet. Like I said, my eyelid looks super, it's pretty, but, and I may have layered too much. It just, even on the side where I just did one layer, like it's emphasizing all of the texture on my eyelids. I don't have very much texture. I don't know. I'm not having a good time with this. And I don't think there's enough. I'm going to pass this along to somebody else because I think this would be good for somebody that just wants like 1 or 2 shadows and go about their life. This is one of those palettes for sure that's really pretty to look at. I got sucked in from Instagram, and I'm just, there's some formulas in here that are finicky and I'm not having a great time with it. And like I said, this is going to be a good companion palette, and I'm not somebody that's going to, I have other shimmers, so I'm not telling anybody not to go buy this. I just don't think this is for me. I am not the target audience for this, but like I said, I got sucked. It is pretty. Like, I still really like the packaging, and I like opening it and looking at it. Like, that's pretty to me, and it's, but I think you could do, I'm just tired and I'm starting to get over it. I think you could do this purple in the crease. Any of these, which are more of a satiny shimmer, I think would be fine in the crease. And then you could put some of these in with it. I think that's why there's like these colors to go in with these. And then this is really pretty, this black with the blue. This is another one I don't think I'm gonna get enough use out of it, so we're just gonna call it. The palette, I lost, the palette won, and I'm gonna pass it on to somebody else. And then same thing with this one. I guess there is Enchanted. I didn't realize that. I don't know. I think somebody else will get more use out of this than me. So I was debating about just deleting this, but I thought it would be helpful for people to see that I don't have luck with every single palette. There are struggles that happen. I don't normally film it when I'm trying new palettes, but I'm sad about this one because it's so pretty, but there's some, like I said, you saw the struggle, and I didn't even get very far into the palette before I was like, and I'm done. But it does happen, so I thought maybe this would be helpful. So yeah, that was me testing out palettes. It was kind of a fail, but you got to kind of see the process. So hopefully it wasn't too boring. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, if this is helpful. And yeah, hopefully I will see you guys in another video very, very soon.